Good evening and welcome to the combined meeting, September 7th, 5 p.m. Roll call, please.
Mr. Costa,
Here.
Ms. Fabry,
Here.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Here.
Mr. Holmes,
Here.
Mr. Rivera,
Here.
Mr. Sabrana,
Present.
Mr. Silva, Mrs. Cataspati,
Present.
Ms. Spinelli.
Here. In compliance with the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law, commonly referred to as the Sunshine Law, the Vineland Board of Education has caused notice and posting of this meeting to be sent to the following: announcing time, therefore, agenda, etc. The Daily Journal, S&J Today, the Press of Atlantic City, Nuestra Comunidad, Visto Bueno, and the Clerk for the City of Vineland, and the Administrative Office Public Bulletin Board. At this time, please stand for the flag salute.
Let the record reflect Alex Silva is here at 5:02.
We are going to go to our special presentations for this evening, and then we will move on in the agenda to our executive session. Scott, do I have a resolution for executive session?
We do. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the City of Vineland School District will convene into the executive session for the following reasons as outlined in NJSA 10:4-12. Discussion of any pending or anticipated litigation and any matters falling within the attorney-client privilege to the extent the confidentiality is required in order for the attorney to exercise his ethical duties as a lawyer.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta,
Yes.
Ms. Fabry,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Yes.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Rivera,
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Mrs. Cataspati,
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli. Motion
Yes.
carries.
At this time, we will go into our special presentations and then our executive session.
Thank you. To begin, we'll have Mr. Mustarell provide a transportation update.
Thank you. We appreciate the respect the questions or concerns which arise regarding state-defined courtesy busing and the ever-present need to adhere to budgets. The state requires districts to offer transportation to students residing at least 2.5 miles from their school. Modern software measures the shortest route to the school along public roadways and walkways. Under Regulation 8600, the Vineland City Board of Education has adopted 3 busing distance criteria. High school, 9 to 12, is 2.5 miles. Intermediate, 6 to 8, is 1.5 miles. Elementary, pre-K to 5th grade, is 0.5 miles. We strive for student safety while also considering the courtesy busing defined by the state. We communicate with the city to identify roadways which present greater challenges to pedestrians, such as those without sidewalks or crossing guards. The Board of Education oversees budgetary allocation which support and enhance student safety among the many initiatives necessary to deliver a high-quality education to more than 10,000 children traversing a community of 69 square miles. Management purchased new software which exceeds the capability of Google Maps. We diagram routes and distances from a student's residence to their school with greater accuracy. This is why some students now fall under the courtesy busing definition. We recognize and respect the challenges parents and guardians face when transporting children while juggling employment and other responsibilities. Management is duty-bound to adhere to established state guidelines while monitoring affordability and consistency. Working together with the city and our families, we strive to provide a safety-driven and affordable transportation service. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mustarell. At this time, we have our second presentation, which will be a review of the Code of Conduct presented by a few of our secondary principals. We're going to use the screen, I believe. So let's get set up. Ms. Gia is going to bring down the screen, so we'll need to move. And then after that, we'll move into executive session. Sir, so watch your head.
Are you ready? Say good evening, everyone. Thank you to Mr. Yano and Central Administration, board members, Ms. Spinelli, our president, Ms. Kajaspati, our vice president, and all of our board members. Thank you for allowing us to speak briefly with you this evening on our new secondary code of conduct.
I'm Mr. Bermudez, principal at Sergeant Dominic Pilla Middle School. Again, thank you as well for having us this evening. So over the course of the last few years, we have worked individually on a middle school and high school code of conduct to kind of refine them for our students. And through consultation with Dr. Sneed in her office, we came together over the summer to create a uniform code of conduct for grades 6 through 12. All middle school administrators had input, obviously with consultation with central administration, to come up with a code of conduct that we felt could stretch across all of those grade levels. Our efforts wanted to maintain a progressive policy that continued to, again, focus on helping students make positive choices, keeping them accountable, but also thinking about those things that we could do and put in place to allow them to make better choices moving forward.
So part of the Code of Conduct, we're also including restorative practices. Restorative practices goes beyond just administering consequences for behaviors that go against the Code of Conduct. It is about building stronger relationships among students, between home and school, and as a community at large. Restorative practices focuses on taking responsibility and being accountable for one's actions, understanding how your actions or behaviors affect others, and understanding how making good choices actually has a positive impact with the school community at large. It's all about relationships and respect. How do we achieve that? Working together, home and school, together with the student.
Utilize school and community resources to support our students in need, getting to the root of the why. It is our goal, secondary 6 through 12, that we communicate more frequently with our families, and we include more frequently our guidance department, our social workers, our SAC counselors, and many of our community resources to support our students in need. Getting to the root of the why. Why are our students possibly exhibiting specific behaviors? As you can see, our code of conduct now is tiered, levels 1 through 4. Level 1 are more minor infractions that build on to then level 4, which would be more major infractions. If you see where it says consequences, there's different initials for different areas, supports that we will include in the various infractions.
As we stated before, there's a greater emphasis on parent and school communication as well as the social emotional supports. Parents will be called more frequently. They're also asked to visit the school so we can discuss the behaviors that are occurring and coming up with a plan together as to how we can make those improvements on the behaviors that are being exhibited. Also, as we find the root causes of the behaviors, we're also providing the supports, whether it be with guidance, small groups, whatever the student needs to understand what is causing these behaviors to be exhibited, and providing those supports to make it better, with the student and what their choices are.
One of the other inclusions that we have in our code of conduct is a behavior agreement. So in those circumstances where we've tried other interventions and they maybe aren't successful, there really is a collaborative effort to bring the students, the families, guidance counselors, administration together to come up with a solution and to come up with an agreement that is, again, like I mentioned this a moment ago, is collaborative so that the students can make those better choices and find success at any one of our respective buildings.
We do encourage all families to visit our various websites, our student parent handbooks as our code of conduct. Our secondary code of conduct is noted in all of our handbooks as well as posted on our website. That does bring us to a closure of our very brief presentation. And if anybody has any questions? Thank you so much.
At this time, we will retire into executive session and be back shortly. Thank you very much. Okay. Moving on to agenda item number 6, approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Ms. Fabry?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes to the August 3rd meetings and abstain on the 24th meeting. I was not in attendance.
Thank you. Ms. Codispoti?
Yes to the August 3rd and to the August 24th additional combined meeting, and abstain from the August 24th executive session meeting.
Thank you. Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving on to committee reports. We did not report on our committee reports last month, so if you have any committee reports this evening, please go ahead and say your minutes. Mr. Holmes.
Transportation Committee met on Thursday, August 18th. Present were Mr. Mustarell, Mr. Yano, Mr. Hall, Ms. Spinelli, myself, Mr. Rivera, Ms. Fabry, Ms. Blakely, and Ms. Camara. Discussed was 26 buses on gov deals, driver routes, driver picks, driver vacation, ESS aid training, driver startup meeting, driver aid parking lot number with tags, routing packages 133, total drivers, regular drivers 93, total special needs drivers 40, drivers started the year on leave 1, total substitute drivers 14, drivers in training 8, driver trainees in the last classroom training 10, and bus sanitation were all discussed. The Policy and Personnel Committee met as well. Give me a few moments to pull up the minutes from that meeting.
I have facilities.
Met on July the 27th at 4:15. Present were Ms. Spinelli, myself, Mr. Fiocchi, Mr. Sabrana, Mr. Yano, Dr. Sneeden, Dr. Rossi. Personnel discussion, Memorial School principal, the BA search, principal clerk typist staffing, MOCA program, and we also discussed grading and uniforms. So we met in August as well. I'll give that report at the next meeting. That's all.
I attended the facilities meeting for Mr. Rivera. We had present Mr. Sabrana, Ms. Spinelli, Mr. Yano, Mr. Mustarell, and Mr. Farinaccio. He reviewed the ongoing projects, including the updates for the following, both ESSER 2 and 3 window projects. Our moving forward is the design and budget allow. Rossi and DePalato schools are primarily done with the exception of a few parts. Dame Barcy's windows are still on order. We discussed the Alyssa's Law project, and it should be wrapped up and completed by the beginning of the school year, so it should be here about now. Phase 1 of the district's-wide camera project has started. District is waiting for final pricing on all the outdoor camera, wiring. Active HVAC projects at Duran, Menny's, and Winslow are almost complete. If anybody has any questions about that, they can ask Mr. Farnacchio. DePalato's roof project should be finished by the start of the school year. Winslow's Phase 2 HVAC project should be advertised in the next month. District-wide cleaning is wrapping up in all the buildings, and our next meeting will be September 29th. I did attend the curriculum meeting for Ms. Acosta, but unfortunately I cannot get into the minutes right now, so they'll have to come at the next meeting.
Finance Committee met on August 22nd at 8 a.m. via Google Meet. In attendance was Ms. Spinelli, Mr. Silva, Mr. Mustarell, and myself. Following topics were discussed. Sodexo June operating statement, their net excess, extraordinary aid for fiscal year 22, Vineland High School South and North window bid, 26 buses that will be going for sale on gov deals, Rossi roof replacement will be going to bid soon. And lastly was substitute costs. Thank you.
I attended the preschool meeting. Ms. Godlewski was there presenting on our special education program. I was there with all the providers. They're just really excited about getting started and getting working. I just get to sit in as the liaison and listen to everything, and I'm really excited about our preschool. So if anybody knows anybody, they're still looking for children, so you can reach out to the district and you will be able to register your children.
Thank you. Okay, public meeting report by board solicitor.
No report this evening.
Thank you. Public comment on agenda items or any other matter. Please limit yourself to 3 minutes. You can come up to the podium. We do have the timer set, and Mr. Mustarell will call your name if you submitted a yellow sheet.
Stephanie Hart, busing walk zone student.
Good evening, everybody. I just have some concerns. I have a VHS student. She is currently now in a walk zone. As far as I know, she's the only high school student on my street that walks. I'm concerned with her safety. It's not safe. Some of the roads don't have sidewalks, crossing guards. It's going to be dark by the time she has to be to school. I'm just trying to get some kind of resolve to this issue because I'm a single parent, a working parent. I'll be at work when she's supposed to be walking to school. So I'm just trying to figure out something for her so she can reach school safely and I can work in peace, with a peace of mind. I have tried everything I could think of. I'm a single parent. My parents are deceased. I don't have any other family here. So this is kind of, I'm in between a rock and a hard place trying to figure out what to do. Because either she can be late to school every day, because I can take her when I get home from work, which is 30 minutes away. I work for the state of New Jersey. I've been there for 16 years. Or we can find some way to have her on a bus, as she's been for the past 4 years since we've been in this district.
We're not allowed to exchange dialogue. So we will have someone reach out to you to get some more information from you, but we're not allowed to comment.
Okay. Yeah, I went through the chain of command, so I'm here expressing my concern to see how we can go about this. And then I guess from here we just figure out what's next. But it's unsafe. I pay an extreme amount of money in taxes. I think she should be provided a bus. And I'm surprised that there aren't many more parents here. But again, that's not my concern. But thank you.
Elizabeth and Jennifer Belvit, transportation and walking.
So last year at the same school, I had a bus. This year I don't have one. So I have to walk or ride my bike to school every day if I can't get a ride. It takes about half an hour to walk, so I have to leave before 8 a.m. if I want to be at homeroom before it starts at 8:30. Even if I were to get there sooner, I would still have to go through metal detectors, get my bag checked, and go to my locker before class. On the first day, there was no crossing guard for Park and Valley at 8 a.m. That intersection is very dangerous with no walking signs or buttons that work. Thank you.
She's being brave. Hi, everyone. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. And I've talked with a lot of you, so I appreciate the back and forth that I've received. But my daughter has no bus this year. I'm also speaking on behalf of some of my neighbors that are a little afraid to speak publicly. The route that I found that is less than 1.5 miles has my daughter walk on 9 different roads to get to school, to Memorial. And I asked for the route map that shows that we're 1.36 miles, but haven't received it. There are 2 primary ways to get to her school from our house, which would be either going down Park Avenue to Main Road and going down to Memorial, or going down our street to Park Avenue and turning on Valley and going down to Chestnut. Okay. Walking's fine. We did a practice walk with our kids with another neighbor last Saturday morning. We're okay with it. But I bought her a bike lock. Our neighbor's dad called Memorial School today to ask about the bike helmets, and a secretary said that they weren't sure if kids are allowed to bring them into the building. So I'm asking if you can relay to us and to school staff if that's okay or not. Like, they should be able to put them in their lockers, because obviously leaving them outside in the weather isn't good for a safety device, and also they could get stolen. So they should be able to fit in a locker. I asked her if she thought it would fit, if you can check on that for us. I was told by the police department that if there's not 6 kids at a corner, there won't be a guard because there aren't enough. So I don't know if that's going to change, because obviously yesterday with the weather, nobody knows yet how many kids are going to be where because it was raining so hard. The crossing guards, are they guaranteed to be there? I think yesterday and today we had some issues with them missing each other and being there at different times, because I did get to speak to our guard this afternoon, and she assured me the times that she's going to be at Park and Valley, and I feel like hopefully from this point on that's going to be settled. But we do have other concerns. So Park and Valley is a dangerous intersection. The guard even noted to me some concerns that she has. The corner does not have the walk and don't walk signs that are available at many of our other intersections where kids are crossing. Okay, it also doesn't have any of the yellow pedestrian signs that many other intersections where kids are walking to school have. And it does have the push buttons, but they don't work. So those are big concerns for all of us of our kids walking. There's also a spot where there have been a lot of crashes. I passed a crash driving there to school this past spring in the morning, and 2 to 3 weeks ago, or sometime in August, we had a bicyclist hit in daylight hours that had to be transported to the hospital at that corner, and I asked for accident reports and I haven't received anything. So the other intersection going down Park to Main Road, the section from Landis and down is fine, but from Park Avenue down to Memorial, there are big chunks that don't have sidewalks. So that is a big concern if they were told to travel that way. We just want our children to be safe and to have the same precautionary measures on the roads that are afforded to walkers on different streets in our city. And if they aren't, then give them a bus, or give them a bus until these things can be corrected. Like, we're not trying to be difficult. I know that transportation's an issue. I know that we're short drivers. If she's got to walk, I'm okay with that, but I don't want it just thrown together that they need to walk and some things were overlooked in that process. So that's all. Thank you.
Luz Vasquez.
Good evening. On behalf of the South Jersey Faith Coalition, not only are we concerned about educational issues, but it was brought to my attention the employment data, and I was given some numbers, and I requested some data from superintendent's office, to which they sent me a link to the New Jersey report card of the New Jersey Department of Education. So I just want to list a couple things that were so alarming. Again, I'm so focused on curriculum issues that I never really paid attention to the employment data here in Vineland. For the 2020-2021 year, we have 84.7% teachers in the district, 84.7% white, 10.6% Hispanic, 4% Black. Administrators in the district, 82.2% white, 15.6% Hispanic, 2.2% Black, and all other minority groups were almost non-existent. What I say that in 2022 to have this data the way it looks, it is pretty shameful. So I don't know how we got here or why, and at this point right now, I'm not sure if that would be helpful other than trying to resolve this issue moving forward, but this is definitely a concern no matter what party you're on or what group you represent. It just doesn't seem reflective of the community that we live in. Combined Hispanic and African Americans here are 75.4% Hispanics and African Americans combined. So if that's Hispanic and Black students, the ratio for the employment is just not reflective of even the student body. Now, when you combine other races, minority groups make up 79.9% of the student body here in Vineland School District. So again, this is so concerning to me that 84% and 82% are white in terms of employees, and I'm not talking about food service workers, we're talking about professional staff. So to say that minority groups are not qualified would be very offensive, so I don't think that's anything that anybody here would say, but it is hard-pressed to think why more minorities are not represented at the professional level here at the Vineland Board of Education. So it is something to consider. I did send my recommendations, and it is at every level of the hiring process, from the time that applicants submit their applications and they are pulled for potential interviews, to have a neutral, diverse panel picking them out, and one to include somebody that's not under the direct purview of the hiring manager to ensure some type of objectivity. All along the line, all along the hiring process, there should be a process of checks and balances to ensure that this data is not what it looks like. So moving forward, we do need to work together to resolve this and improve the representation in this community that is so diverse and is predominantly, from what I see, minority, and the staff within the public schools should also reflect that. Thank you so much.
Barbara Hovis.
Hi, good evening. There's a little bit of concerns that we as bus drivers have. We are definitely underpaid. We are not appreciated. We don't understand why we're not appreciated, considering we are the first peoples the little kids see in the mornings and the last to get off the bus. You know, we're driving a $150,000 item, transporting over 100 kids every day, taking chances with our own lives with crazy-ass drivers, excuse my language, but I've been in a hit-and-run accident in July. You know, it seems like it just doesn't, to be a bus driver now, you're getting 21 bucks an hour. Us seniority drivers that we have a little bit of years, we're not even appreciated. We ain't even up to 21 bucks. How fair is that? I mean, you got drivers making $16, $17 an hour. Aides are starting out at $15 an hour. Hello? What's up with that? You got 19, 20-year drivers, not even making 20 bucks an hour. You're taking all these drivers off the streets with no knowledge of a bus, making 21, 22, whatever you guys agree with. We, as though we are here as a group, we are seen, we are heard, we are staying, and we want to be appreciated, and we want our pays to at least increase with everybody else. Everybody else is paying $21 to $31 an hour. Why is Vineland still in the teens? Teens. Come on, guys. All we want is to be appreciated, and I mean, we shouldn't have to work 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet. I can't even make my own bills. I have to bust my behind to work just so I can get a decent paycheck. And when I go home, I got to turn around and do it all again the next day. And we, like I said, we're not appreciated. We don't get nothing. We don't get not a daggone thing. Our birthdays, we don't get a thank you. We get exactly nothing. We're so underappreciated, it's not even funny. But yet, we're the first peoples all the little kids see, and the last peoples. And when it's rain and snow and sleet, and you got all these school principals calling out, what's your ETA, what's your ETA, what's your ETA? Well, hello, we're on trying to be safe on these roads, driving these kids. We can't be asking 50 million questions and wondering where we're at, why we ain't got them home yet, because we got idiot drivers that just continue on and on and on and on. It's just not fair. You got a McDonald's employee that can make $17, $18, $19 an hour. That's more than what we're making. Half of us ain't even up there. We just like to know why we're underappreciated. We're the ones with our lives on the road, driving all these little kids to make sure they get home safe.
Sorry, ma'am.
Got it.
I don't want to.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Janelle Bennett.
Hello. I'm a parent of 4, and I still have the same concern as the other parent. Last year, my daughters, I have 4 kids, and they all rode the bus last year. And the same address I lived in, I never moved. And then this year, they decided not to give them any bus. And with me being a single parent, I have to leave work, go home, take my kids to school, and have to get back to work. And then I have to do that in the afternoon. So that's a big concern. And then also, the route they have to take to get to school, there's no sidewalk. So since school start, I have to leave work. Sometimes the work that I do, sometimes I get stuck. I cannot even leave. Yesterday, my daughter had to walk home in the rain while it was pouring out because she wasn't provided a bus, and I couldn't leave to go pick her up. So with me being the only available person to my children, that's a big concern to me. And I don't understand why they tell me when I called and I talked to numerous people that's the head of transportation, there's nothing they can do about it because they're going to enforce the driving mileage. And I feel like with me not moving and they had a bus, they should have got a bus this year. And the comment he made to me was they should have never got a bus last year, and this is a privilege that they had last year. And I didn't respect it, the fact that he said it was a privilege, because like the other parent says, I pay taxes, and they take a lot of taxes out of my check and providing, putting into the buses, and my kids cannot have that privilege, like he said, for them to ride the bus. So when I put in my address from where I live at to the high school, my kids, they're walking an hour. So imagine they have to walk, get up in the morning, and they have to get dressed and take an hour walk to and from school. I don't understand that. So will anything be done regarding that? Because I cannot do this for a whole year with my job, because that's the only income I have. And with me not being able to get to and from my kids like I want to because I'm at work, I'm very scared about that, because if they start walking, there's no sidewalk, there's no pedestrian, there's nothing. Like she stated, it's going to be worried. She's going to be worried. Like, how are they going to be home safely with crazy drivers like everybody been saying? And, I would like something to be done towards that, because if they had a privilege last year, they should have a privilege this year as well. And I have 2 teenagers in the high school, 1 in the middle school, and I have 1 in preschool. My son, he has a bus because he's the smallest. But all my other children, they're walking. 2 is taking an hour to walk to school.
Ma'am, I don't mean to cut you off, but the time is up. And we do have your contact information and
Okay, so I hope something get done regarding
will reach
that.
out to you.
Marla Milborn.
Hello. My name is Miss Milborn. I'm a bus driver for Vineland. I just retired from New Jersey Transit 3 years ago. And when I came in last year, I was very excited, but then I started seeing a lot of the situations that the drivers were in. They paid me good money to start, and I got to look at them every day, the stress they under, working like we do. We work very, 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 very hard. I live in Vineland. I've owned my home 43 years. So that means I pay taxes and I don't even have kids. And the situation that these drivers are in is horrible. Y'all sit up there, you live good. You got good homes, you get raises. Take care of us. We work hard. We don't need no other excuses. Nobody telling us to wait. When I got done today, I walked the bus. It was a little 5-year-old. I couldn't even see his head. He was just sitting there. And when I walked up to him, he told me his name. And let me tell you something. Hell could have froze over before I didn't take that little kid home. That's the work that we do. When I came here last year, this place was a mess. I didn't even know if I was going to have a job. But every driver that worked for this Board of Education is some great people. The work they did to get out of that situation was fantastic. And me, as a co-worker with them, I respect them to the utmost because I know the situation that we was in. I know what we was going through. And each one of these drivers, they just took it on themselves to make a change. And that's why we got out of the trouble that we was in. All these people know. Y'all know the trouble we was in last year. We drove 2 days so far. Parents been on us, all this rain. 2 days. What we have went through in 2 days is terrible. Ain't nobody want to talk nice to us. I heard one of the drivers was accused of kidnapping. All I'm going to say to y'all is one thing. I'm a child of God. And when you don't treat people right, it comes back home. These drivers for the Board of Education in Vineland need to be treated right, period.
That's all the notices I have.
Anybody else have any comments tonight?
This is from the one father that couldn't come. It was an email he just sent me right before I left. Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you. Moving on. Superintendent recommendations, discussion, and approvals by the board. Consent agenda.
Request and discussion regarding items, personnel item 1.1 and 1.3. 1.1, approval of the following: A, B, C, and D, retirements, resignations, substitutes, extracurricular activities, and summer extracurricular. 1.3, approval of all certificated staff to perform home instruction as necessary.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta,
Yes.
Ms. Fabry,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Yes.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Rivera,
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti,
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Request and discussion regarding procedures and operations, 2.1, 2.2. 2.1, approval of the following: VHS senior trip, district trips, and district travel. 2.2, approval of the 2022-2023 mentor manual and mentee handbook.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Ms. Fabry?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Request and discussion regarding finance items 4.1 through 4.6. 4.1, approval of the submission of the following grant application and acceptance of the funding for the Cumberland County Alcoholism and Drug Abuse Services grants. 4.2, approval regarding the 2-year renewal of the prescription program with RX Alliance PEBT, Benecard, effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2024. 4.3, approval of the allocation of SRI and ETTC at Stockton University Professional Development hours. 1,274 hours were allocated for the 2022-2023 school year. 4.4, approval of professional development delivered by Dr. Eric Malou for grades 6 through 12. Math teachers, September 21st, 23rd, and October 4th. 4.5, approval of a memorandum of understanding with Rowan University for the College Acceleration Program, CAP, beginning September 1st, 2022 through August 31st, 2023. 4.6, approval of professional development for ESL teachers as introduction to the online component of each series in which teachers learn to effectively integrate the online materials into their instruction and assessment as followed, dates noted on our agenda.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Ms. Fabry?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Codispoti?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Request and discussion regarding finance items 4.7 through 4.13. 4.7, approval of a professional services agreement with the Prader-Willi Syndrome Association of USA to provide training for staff members who have contact with children who have been diagnosed with Prader-Willi. 4.8, approval of district-wide monitoring services for security burglar alarms in a form acceptable to the superintendent and board solicitor. 4.9, approval of participation in a 1-year partnership for each Vineland public school to individually purchase and utilize district pricing for the IXL program for September 3rd, 2022 through September 1st, 2023. 4.10, approval of a resolution awarding a contract for providing natural gas supply for the County of Cumberland and the Cumberland County Cooperative Contract Purchasing System, identifier number 118. 4.11, approval awarding the following contract for Rossi Roof Replacement to Rossi Roof Replacement Contractor, Union Roofing Contractors Incorporated. 4.12, approval of the tuition contract between the City of Vineland Board of Education and Cumberland County Technical Education Center, Strive ESY, for the summer program for 2 students, July 1st through August 1st, 2022. And 4.13, approval of the sale of a 2001 Dodge wagon, which is on file with the board secretary, to be auctioned on GovDeals.
Point of clarification. 4.9 is actually a district site license.
District pricing?
District site
Okay.
license, yeah. for
Approval of
IXL.
participation in a 1-year partnership for district to purchase and utilize district pricing for IXL. Okay.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Ms. Fabry?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera.
Yes.
Mr. Sobrana.
Yes.
Mr. Silva.
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti.
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving on, regular agenda, none. Proposed items for review or discussion by board members, none. Approval of bills, none. Emergent items with prior approval, none. Any old business this evening? None. Any new business this evening? None. Moving on to board member remarks, starting with Mr. Rivera.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome back all the students, teachers, staff, sports staff, everyone involved in the Vineland Public Schools back to another school year. Here's hoping that this year we can do even better than last year. Not that last year was a bad year, but always every year you like to improve. I'd like to thank each and every one of the individuals that came up and spoke. Your comments, your concerns do not fall on deaf ears. We take everything you say and we do consider it. And we do try to address each and every issue that is addressed to us. So be assured of that. I'd like to say to the parents of our students that we need you. We need you in this process as far as your sons and your daughters' education. It's better when we work as a team, and it's better for our students when you are involved. It's not a good idea to just sit back and hope for the best. It's best that we're all involved. So I would like to encourage each and every one of the parents that are out there to be involved in your sons and your daughters' education and be involved in their everyday school life. Quiero animar cada padre de estar envuelto en la vida de sus estudiantes de nuestras escuelas. Necesitamos que ustedes sean parte del equipo, que sea parte de la solución y que sea parte del crecimiento de los hijos de ustedes. On a personal note, I'd like to congratulate my wife on 15 years of dealing with me. Tomorrow we celebrate our 15th wedding anniversary, and I don't know how she did it, but she did it, so congratulations to her. All kidding aside, I love you. 15 years, it's been 15 great years, and here's to 15, 30, 45 more. Thank you. Have a good night.
Mr. Sobrana.
Just to echo what Mr. Rivera said in regard to folks who come to the podium, just because we can't have a dialogue does not mean that we're not listening to you, taking notes, and are going to get back to you with information and to address your concerns. So a long time ago it was established that we did not want to get into a back and forth at the podium where we would be here all night. But that does not mean that we're not listening, not paying attention, not talking to each other, also to administration, and dealing with those issues. Unfortunately, yesterday was one of those first days where there was wonderful rain showers after 5 months of no rain. But according to Mr. Yano, things went pretty well, and we hope that we have a continued success throughout the year. Thank you.
Mr. Silva.
Yes, I'd like to echo my fellow board members and wish everyone a wonderful school year. Students, staff, administration. Like my board member said, we do listen to you and your concerns, and we do discuss your concerns with administration and amongst each other to make things better. Thank you, and have a good night.
Mr. Fiucchi.
Nothing at this time.
Mr. Holmes.
Yes, thank you to every single one of you that played a part in the opening of school. I want to commend our central administration team, including directors and supervisors, who exhibited great leadership by showing up and assisting with arrival and dismissal. Transportation each year is a lesson, and I want our parents that spoke tonight to know that we appreciate you voicing your concerns, and the discussion won't stop here. To our bus drivers, as we discussed before with the VEA, when it's time for the board to speak, no one stays. Thanks, Ms. Lisa, for staying and hearing what we have to say. We do appreciate each and every one of you, and we are working hard for our district employees, our parents, and our students. Thank you.
Ms. Acosta.
Welcome back to all of our students, teachers, administrators, staff members, and everyone that made the first day possible. Thank you to our central administration for working very hard and working collaboratively with our schools to ensure that we started off a successful new year. Obviously, we're a team, and there is, if one part is not working, then the rest kind of like falls apart. So I just want to let the bus drivers know I do appreciate each and every one of you. It is definitely not an easy job, but we hear you. For the parents that came out with concerns regarding their children not getting buses, again, you will be contacted, and I appreciate you coming out and voicing, obviously, your parents that are extremely concerned for the welfare of your children, and I am sure that hopefully by working together, some resolution can be found. And finally, I just want to thank Mrs. DeMarchi and the entire team that worked on the secondary code of conduct. I really appreciate the hard work. I can see that there was a lot of thought that went into preparing this, and I really feel that this will, by taking a look at the whys behaviors are occurring, I really think that we may be able to make some positive changes. So thank you for your hard work. Thank you.
Ms. Fabry.
I also want to welcome back the students and staff, and thank everybody who came out tonight to the podium. The public comment portion is most important to me because we don't get to hear what's going on every day. So for you to come up here and speak to us, it's obviously incredibly important. So I appreciate it. I know my fellow board members do, and I encourage you to continue doing so if you have concerns. And you will be contacted by somebody to discuss further. But thank you again. Good evening.
Thank you. Ms. Caspati.
I, along with the rest of my fellow board members, I would like to thank everyone who came out to speak tonight. It takes a lot to get up here and speak. As you know, we cannot address you, but we are listening, we are taking notes, and we are and will follow up with everything that you said. Your concerns are true to us, and we want to make sure that your issues are being addressed. As my other fellow board members had stated earlier, we need our parents and we need our caregivers. We need to hear from you. We need you here. You need to let us know what is going on. Sometimes we don't hear it, so we rely on you guys. Happy anniversary, Mr. Rivera. A reminder for those of you who know about Cole, our therapy dog at Menny's. He won our National Therapy Hero Award. He's still up for voting, and he is in the running for National Hero Award. So please, 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 get out and vote. We would love to see him be recognized. He is one of our own. He does so much for our district and our community. So please get out the votes. And I know my fellow board members appreciate everything that every one of our district employees do. Please don't ever feel that you're not appreciated, because you are. I'd like to welcome back our students, staff, and teachers. I truly hope that this school year is a good one for you. God bless you all, and have a good night.
Thank you. Mr. Yano.
Thank you. Just want to provide an update. The central office team was able to visit every school over the last 2 days to welcome our students and our staff. They've reported back amazing days of reunions and gatherings and connections, lots of smiling faces, not too many crying kids. Sometimes you get a few criers in kindergarten or in preschool. Many of them, most of them, were very excited to get into school. We had time to visit our high school, our middle schools. Everyone seems to be very positive. It's exciting, and it was nice to be able to support our principals, our teachers, our APs, our custodians, our bus drivers as we got all of our kids in school as best and as efficiently as possible. It's critical that our parents remember that you need to fill out an application to qualify for a free or reduced lunch. The application is on our website. That's a very important document that needs to be filled out. Our Sodexo team is working with district and the business office to make sure that all families have access to the application. It's on our website. Please fill it out. It's very important to fill out that form as soon as possible. AlphaBest is in every kindergarten through 8th grade building. We have before care and after care at a very affordable rates. So please, again, look at our website. On the front page, there's an application there, and the rates and the hours of all the programs are available there for your review. Back to school nights have begun. Please look at the website. The individual dates and times are noted on our website. Special shout out to Principal Feliciano, DeMarchi, and Bermudez for presenting today and for working with Dr. Sneeden and the rest of our secondary APs and principals to put together the Secondary Code of Conduct. This is a living document that you saw today, training organized through Supervisor Dina Rodolfo and the Curriculum Department and Mr. Fry on restorative practices is kicking off throughout the school year, and you'll see another version of this Code of Conduct come online next year as we address restorative practices and begin to work with our students to help them address some of their challenges and conflicts in a constructive and positive manner. I believe that's it for this evening from me, so thank you.
Thank you. Well, welcome back. I hope that everyone had a great first day of school and is looking forward to all the wonderful things that are going to be happening. We talked about diversity tonight, and I know that that is definitely something on the radar in the HR department as well as in our policy and personnel meetings. So we have the MOCA program that has recently started, and we are excited about that. We have a couple candidates that are going through that now, but it's definitely on the radar, and I look forward to sharing more information about those numbers with you. As far as transportation, I am hopeful that us, the board, can work with the central office staff to hopefully have as many students on the buses as possible. I know the struggle. As a single parent, you need that. People need to get their kids safely to school. It's just so important. And I was a single parent. And if the bus didn't come to my house, I have no idea how I would get my son to school. Sorry. I want everyone to be safe. My husband's a police officer, and I know how dangerous it is out on our roads. So I am hopeful that we will continue to beat the drum and to get as many students to school safely as we can. I'm sorry for being emotional. With that, I just hope that everybody has a great school year. We do appreciate the bus drivers. They are your first point of contact in the day. Students having a bad day, they're the first ones there to cheer them up and to get them through the day. They're there for them through a lot of things. And, we are working with the union, and I hope that we can come to an agreement that satisfies everyone. And I just want you to know, everyone here is excited for the school year, and we are working. We are working to make Vineland the best that it can be. And with that, I call this meeting adjourned.
So moved.